Hello guys, today we will be discussing about the primary IPO base. IPO base is nothing but the first viable base since the stock has got listed into the market. So as you can see in this example, the IPO of the stock came in at this price, listed at this price, then it immediately made an all-time high ATH, then it went into some consolidation phase as you can see here, and finally it broke out of that all-time high which was formed here. Okay, so this is called the primary IPO base breakout. It is not necessary that you should be looking at similar kind of action, exactly this kind of action. There are multiple ways to spot the primary IPO base. This is just one example of such basis. In the another example, if you could see here, so here the price of stock was listed, then it went into forming an all-time high at this point, then it went into consolidation. As you can see, it went down and it consolidated for some time, then it again went up at this point here, which was almost near to the all-time high. Here it started again forming some consolidation, and finally it broke out of that consolidation phase from here. So this is also an example of an primary IPO base. It is nothing but the first viable base of the recently listed stock. Then again, in this third example, as you can see, the IPO came in here, then it went into make an all-time high, corrected, and without forming any base, it broke out of that all-time high. This was the all-time high. From here it broke the all-time high and again started consolidating. Okay, in this consolidation phase, it formed a new all-time high here, and this all-time high is now working as a resistance. As you can see here, there is a resistance of this all-time high, and it is not allowing the prices to go above that point. However, once the price crosses this all-time high, new all-time high, by forming a constructive base, we can call it a primary IPO base. That is the first viable base of the stock since it got listed. So now enough about this theory. Now let's move into the real-time examples and let's see how this works out. So after the theory part of the primary IPO basis, let's see what are the historical examples of the primary IPO base and what is the current stock, which is the current stock that is exhibiting this character. So let's see Craftsman. So if you could see Craftsman when it got listed, yeah, so this was listed and it went into forming an all-time high immediately. However, after going for the all-time high, it started consolidating, and again it tried to reclaim its all-time high. However, it could not break out, so there was a little consolidation, and once this consolidation phase was broken out by this large this bullish candle, there was a significant uptrend starting in this stock. So as you can see, once this bullish candle on 25th May 2021, it broke this all-time high. The move was significantly great. Again, there is only it's not like there is only one chance to get into this primary IPO base. Sometimes there is a formation of base over base, BOB, base over base. So in this Craftsman, why we have selected it is because this has very unique characteristic of this base over the base character. As you can see, after the primary IPO base breakout, the price was again consolidating because those who are early sellers, they tried to book the profit early. It's not an appropriate word to call them sellers. Actually, the early buyers who had some decent profit, they tried to book it, and we are because of that we are seeing this base being formed, base over base. So once this base is broken out, there is again an uptrend starting into this stock. So this was again a very significant move. After that, let's see the example of Stovecraft. So this is also another example of an IPO base. So here in this example, if you could see, we had this stock listed, it came down after listing, then it again went up, then again went down, again tried to reclaim its all-time high, but again it failed, and the supply was very strong that it consistently formed selling, consistently had selling pressure. However, once this pressure was diminished, we could see there is a formation of base over here. If you could see, there is a formation of base with higher lows being formed. So I'll just highlight it for you. So once this move happened, we see there was a base being formed, and once this base was broken out, once this supply zone was broken, there was a very strong up move starting into this stock. See this, how it went up from around 528. This was a very significant move. So the benefit of this primary IPO base is that it appreciates your capital very rapidly. However, there is also a risk involved, so never trade any stock without a stop loss. So where would you put a stop loss in this case, or in any primary IPO base example case? The stop loss would be around, I mean, what we follow is that we follow the principle of keeping stop loss at the latest swing, below the latest swing low. So in this case, the latest swing low was around 475, so we would keep our stop 1 or 2 points below that 475 level. Okay, so this is one example that had happened. Now let's see Jubilant Ingrevia. This is these all are the primary IPO basis example. However, what I am doing is trying to take different cases, case by case, because each base is a different base. It's not like a signature base that you would get all the time. In this case, in the case of Jubilant Ingrevia, if you could see, the stock got listed, there were two upper circuits consecutively, then it came down and it again went up on, say for example, on 6th April it significantly gapped up and a very strong bullish candle was formed. However, this was not a primary base breakout because there is no base actually here. For me, the base is something, there are at least two contractions. As you can see in the next consolidation phase, there were two contractions. One which brought the price down to the low of 315. Then again the price tried to reclaim the all-time high. Then again it pushed price down to 320. So here we are seeing that there is a contraction in volatility, and this is what we are expecting. So this is a kind of ideal base, IPO base we are looking for. So it doesn't matter it has to form immediately or it has to be the all-time high that is the stock has given. as soon as it got listed, or 1 or 2 days later when it got listed. It's not like that. You Because primary IPO base is the first buyable base of that stock, so it's not necessary that it should be at the it should be near the prices of opening day only, IPO listing day only. It could also be there, it could also be at different place. You never know, it could also be at higher price than the IPO was listed, or it could also be at somewhat lower price, or you know, or equal price when the IPO was listed. So that's how, this is a different kind of IPO base that we are talking about. So the only motive behind sharing these multiple examples is that there is no textbook base, but you will have to see different examples. So now let's move into this AWL, Adani Wilmar Limited. This was the recent IPO breakout that we got, IPO base breakout that we got into. So here in this case, if you could see, the IPO listing happened around on 8th Feb. Then it went up and created an all-time high. Then the price was pushed down by the sellers. It again tried, again came back, and finally it broke out of its all-time high around 420. Okay, and since then, once it broke it at 420, it went up till 878. It posted the all-time high of 878. You don't have to catch the entire move. Even if you got 50% of this move, you still have compounded your capital very rapidly, and that is how your capital is appreciated when you get into an correct IPO based breakout. So this was the Adani Wilmar example. Now let's see a different kind of example, Happiest Wine. So in this case, yeah, this is also another kind of example in itself. If you could see, the stock was listed around, posted actually, it posted a high of 394 on its listing day on 17th September 2020. However, the stock didn't shot up immediately. It went into the consolidation period. This was a very long consolidation period that the stock went in. But what happens here is that the stock tries to reclaim its all-time high, but again there was a selling pressure, so it came down. Here what happened again was that there was another attempt by the stock to reclaim that price, and it successfully reclaimed it. It successfully reclaimed the all-time high. However, the closing was not encouraging on the day of 12th Feb 2021. So the closing was not so encouraging. But if you could see, there was a very tight move after for next 2 days on 15th and 16th. There was a very tight move here. I'll just highlight it for you. On these next 2 days, there was a very tight move, and once that tight move was broken out, once the price broke out of this move, the stock consistently compounded the money for the traders who got into it, or investors who got into it at correct point. See this, how gigantic this move was, and it happened at around 419, but see how this was a giant move in making. So this is how the primary IPO basis work out. So again, in this example also you could see there were multiple bases being formed on the after the primary IPO base, and this usually happens when the stock is fundamentally strong. See this is one of the base, then this is another base, right? So there were multiple opportunities for traders as well as the investors to get into this awesome stock that compounded the capital in a very rapid fashion. Now, the biggest question: which stock in the current market is exhibiting these characters of an IPO base? So it's Ethos Limited. There is one more, but let's see this first. That actually that one more which I am saying, it is about base over base. So here is the primary IPO base in making in Ethos Limited. As you could see, the IPO was listed on recently, it was listed on 30th May 2022. It went down, again came up, again went down, but not that significant correction was that. Then it again tried to reclaim the all-time high. Again it made the third contraction here. Currently it's making its third contraction, and we are expecting, if the price moves beyond 822, then this could be an ideal entry for us, with the stop loss at 765 for the target of 935 primary target. We may trail it or we may not trail it. Let's see how how this move plays out. Again, I want to give a disclaimer that this is what we are planning to do, and we are not recommending it to anyone to put in money. Even we would do paper trading here, and we are not expecting you to take your financial decisions based on our analysis. We are not SEBI registered analyst, and your profits and your losses are entirely your responsibility. I hope you enjoyed this educational video. If you have any feedback, kindly comment. We would also like you to like and share this video, subscribe to our channel, so that whenever we are posting any new updates, we usually post the updates over the weekends or during the weekdays as well, depend on how we get time from our other activities. So please keep the notification bell on, so that you would get the notification of any live analysis or live charts that we post during the week or over the weekend. Thank you. Have a good night and have a very profitable year ahead. Thank you.